Glazing is the secret to 3D watercolors. We've already created this shadow dark side and this highlight light side, but we can take it to the next level with glazing. Glazing is basically just applying paint to dry paper in layers. So we obviously have this initial layer of paint that's given us most of the information. And glazing is going to help us make this dog 3D by enhancing the values, the lights and the darks and the contrast. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with my darkest darks because that really helps me personally just to give it the depth and make sure that I don't overpaint the lights. So I have my colors and I've already established what colors I'm going to use. So for the light side, I'm actually going to use blue, which is crazy. And it's mostly ultramarine. It's a very watery ultramarine with a tiny bit of buff titanium. You want to be careful using opaque colors. Buff titanium is very opaque when you're glazing because it'll just cover everything underneath up. And you don't want to do that. You want to enhance what's underneath it. But first, we're starting with the dark side. My dark side color is a very dark purple, which is a mix of neutral tint and opera pink. And I already have these mixed up in my palette. You don't want to manipulate the paint underneath your layers, your glazing. You want to do kind of a one and done brush stroke of glazing, which means your colors really won't have the opportunity to mix on the paper. So I like to mix them in my palette, and then I like to test out that mix on a spare piece of paper. So this is our shadow mix, and this is our highlight mix. And I'm also probably going to come in with a tiny bit of azo yellow at the very, very end to really punch up the gold. Let's start with the darkest. The other thing you're going to want handy when you're glazing too is just a plain old brush with water so you can soften edges if they come out maybe a little too harsh. So I'm starting by really thinking about my values and glazing those to create that depth. And it's easier to see values in your painting if you kind of squint your eyes at your artwork, at your reference photo, I should say. And it'll get rid of that detail that your eyes are probably focusing on. So you can really just see the color and the value. So I'm just putting it down where I think it needs a little punch of darkness on the dark side so that it'll really pop off the page. And then I'm softening that in. And it really is that simple. I typically glaze the shadow color on the shadow side and the highlight color on the highlight side, but there are times where I need to consider the values on both sides and create some depth. So I'll move around if I need to. And sometimes when you glaze, you kind of have to think about the layers underneath, and I don't always want to cover up everything, especially with these really dark glazes. So I'll try to negative paint around shapes if I need to. And it can look really cool too if you have some visible brush strokes. So when you glaze, you don't have to be necessarily super accurate or have perfect edges. And you can glaze with other types of brushes too. So I'm going to pick up some of this purple with my greener brush and just get a little bit of those hairy shapes kind of figured out.
If you are loving what you are learning so far and are excited to do the full paint-along tutorial of Alice the Dash Hound, it is all available for you in my membership program.
And it can be really fun to negative paint when you glaze as well. We can move on to our blue. So this one's a little bit more scary for me, but I'm also so excited. So I just want to see. This will be more of a abstract glaze too. And I am, you can tell, kind of centering that glaze towards the other colors. I'm not putting it right in the middle of all that white. I'm really layering color on color here. And then softening it kind of into the white areas. And it can be hard to figure out kind of where to glaze when you're looking at just the reference photo. So taking a step back from your reference photo and kind of looking at the art can be kind of a fun thing to do, trying to figure out where to put your glaze. And I love a good visible brushstroke when you're glazing, which is always a little scary, but it's so awesome at the same time. And it can help you establish some features in a really subtle way. I am so happy we chose to be brave with this blue, which is, it's just gnarly, isn't it? It's so different. But I saw this picture, and number one, I mean, the client said I could use blue, but she loved her natural ginger colors. So I wanted to really emphasize those. But I was really happy she said blue, because when I saw this reference photo, I thought, whoa, I could see blue being really cool. Like this milky blue color, which is really quite different than what we're seeing in the reference photo. I don't want to have a ton. I'm really kind of doubling up on some of the glaze near the face. It's kind of what I'm seeing is a nice way to do it. But I do want to keep my values accurate too. All right. I love a good glaze around the eyes too. Isn't that crazy? It's just crazy what glazing can do. I get so excited about it. I get so excited about glazing. And then a couple, just, you don't need a lot, but 1, 2, maybe 3 brush strokes like that. And all of a sudden, it's clear as day that this is a painting. You know, it's not a picture, it's not a photo, it's not AI. Thank goodness. AI is the worst. AI art is the worst, I should say. And getting some of those features kind of figured out. Oh my gosh, she's just so cute. Okay, so we glaze the blue, and that's how simple it is. And I was thinking some yellow. I'm nervous. I'm more nervous about the yellow than I was for the blue. Let's just start with some on the dark side. And starting around the eyes is never a bad idea too, because that's where we want our focus to be. And if you have an area where there's only that color in like one area on your painting, that's where everybody's eyes are going to go. So, and I'm going to be careful too not to put yellow where I put the blue. I kind of like it though. I don't want to make green. I think I just made green right there. Yellow and blue make green. But she does have this really pretty sun glow that I really like too. And I also don't want it to look like a rainbow, which it won't, because it's not really rainbow colors, but that can also apply to just having a lot of color everywhere. I don't know. I think that's all I really want of the yellow. I think that's doing what I was hoping it would do. And just like, I call that a pop color, when you literally kind of only use it in one place. And I'll often do that with cobalt teal and eye. But that little pop yellow, I don't hate it. I got a little green, so I'm kind of seeing if I can fix that, cover it up. That looks nice. I think I fixed it. And there we have it. How fun was that? You just learned the power of glazing. I will see you in the next video. And in the meantime, I wish you very, very, very happy painting.